Well, what is going on, guys? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. I am here joined with another special guest. You know how we do around here. I get a guest every week. He comes on and we talk a little bit about wrestling. Wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. Today, my guest is Starks Wrestling. You guys can find him on Twitter at Starks Wrestling. Mr. Starks, take it away. Give your plugs and the whole nine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ronnie Starks, aka at Starks Wrestling on Twitter. I am a former independent wrestler. Yeah, good times. That's pretty much my plug, man.
You don't have
That's
anywhere
all I
else
got.
you want to plug?
No, not really. Well, if you guys want to listen to me, I do the warm-up shows on Mondays and Tuesdays for WrestlingRumors.net. So
There you go,
guys
guys.
can.
You guys know where to find him now. Go follow him on the Twitter box. I know I do. So you guys, the Twitter box,
Twitter machine,
the twatter box, you know,
the Twitter box.
the twatter box. So, Ronnie, I figured today we get a little bit into, as I, start sharing this shit out here, because it's live. I figured we get into, we had another title change today. I don't know if you are privy to it, if you've been kind of poking around on Twitter today. But
I have.
We've had yet another title change. This makes two in a week. Shinsuke Nakamura is your second two-time NXT champion. I forget, were they Osaka, Japan today? I believe is where they were filming. And supposedly, according to everything I've seen, Shinsuke is now your second two-time champion. Is this confusing you, I think, as much as it's confused me?
I don't think it's really confusing. It's more like just random. Which, when you think about it, Samoa Joe won the title last Saturday.
Right.
So everybody's like, oh yeah, Samoa Joe, two-time champion. He's not going to the roster anytime soon. And 7 days later, what happens? Shinsuke Nakamura wins back the NXT title from Samoa Joe.
Do you think that's it? Do you think people just don't want to see Joe on the main roster?
I think people want to eventually see him on the main roster. I think this is it. If he doesn't get sent to the main roster soon, well, I gotta think about it now, because in the spoilers for the upcoming weeks, if anybody has read them on the sites, the dirt sheets, Bobby Roode is the new number one contender for the NXT Championship.
Spoiler alert! If
spoiler
maybe a little late on the spoiler alert, but we'll survive, I think, on that one. Yeah, I have read that. In fact, actually, I didn't read the spoilers. I try not to. But the network I am currently working with, which is the No Gimmicks Network, you guys can find us. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube, but you can find them on SoundCloud, Podbean, the whole nine. Don't pay attention. I know I got my little thing over here. Don't pay attention to any of that anymore. It's all changed now. I am now with the No Gimmicks Network. And those guys, and unfortunately with their podcast, I was listening to it, they did not say spoiler alert, even though we didn't really either. They ruined it for me, and I was like, damn it, God, son of a bitch. Yeah. It was one of those things, but yeah, Bobby Roode is now your number one contender, which is obviously, according to a lot of people that I've been digging around out there, including Kevin, he thinks this is setting up that triple threat of Bobby Roode, Nakamura, and Joe for, I'm going to guess, would be Takeover, I don't know what they're going to call it. They're in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, not in Texas, yeah.
Yeah, so Takeover Texas? They're not in Dallas, but Takeover Texas. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. We'll have to wait and see. But that's what he thinks. It's the old volleyball setup. That's where he thinks we're headed with this. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that'd be great. I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of gimmick name for the Texas Alamo Dome kind of thing. But it's going to be a great match.
Takeover, The Last Stand. That could be it.
Takeover, Texas something.
Texas Massacre.
Texas Massacre.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Who knows?
Dude, you know them. They'll think of something ridiculous.
I know they'll think of something ridiculous. I don't know whether I want to see this match or not. I don't know the end game in it all either. It was very confusing. I told everybody just a few weeks leading up to Survivor Series, I thought Nakamura was going to be brought up with his loss on Saturday, that he would be brought up on Sunday
Hmm.
right away, maybe replacing Shane McMahon. Clearly, that didn't happen.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, maybe the Rumble. Maybe he'll come in for the Rumble. But everybody's all hot and heavy on Ty Dillinger being the man who's going to enter number 10 at the Rumble. Um, and I'm like, I don't know if Ty Dillinger is really honestly ready for the main roster. I've spoken my piece on Joe. Um, I think Joe is better suited in NXT, and I think that's kind of his ceiling. I think if he goes to the main roster, he's gonna be another Curtis Axel or Bo Dallas, just kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I don't know if anybody really honestly wants to see that out of Joe. Obviously the man's been in the business for what feels like forever now. I can
Hmm.
remember Joe back when I started watching, 96, 97, 98. And do we really want to see Joe just kind of fall into obscurity again?
I sure hope not, man. I really like Samoa Joe. I've liked him since Ring of Honor days, and he had an amazing run in TNA. I mean, if you've listened to my stuff before, I really don't put over TNA too much, but
I don't either. I just like to poke fun at Dixie Carter.
she's all sorts of the shits. She's awful.
She is. There was a question posed to me not too long ago, which was like, who do you think is your sleaziest person? What's going on, mercenary? Who is your sleaziest person in wrestling altogether? And I said it's got to be Dixie. She's got to be the sleaziest.
uh,
I was so shocked that she found somebody to kind of go into business with her again, and like kind of like be like, oh, hey, company X, which is now we found out was the Fight Network up in Canada.
mm,
Let's fuck o-. I picture this like cold dark room with Dixie Carter going, let's fuck over Billy, and just like, you know what I mean, kind of this weird scenario. And she's got to just be the sleaziest. Am I wrong? I mean,
no, you're not. I feel like the conversation's more like, hey, let's screw over Billy Corgan, eh?
yeah, eh?
What do you think about that deal? And
Yeah.
they're probably looking at her like, whoa, what the fuck?
Do you
And
think she put on the horrible accent too to do all that? I could see it.
well,
I could see her
the
doing it.
fact she must have had a really good accent if they said yes to the deal. So
Yeah, either that or they're like, we like fucking people over.
and
I
it's
just
like
it,
we're Canada, we hate America. Let's fuck
I'm
people
still
over.
shocked she found somebody else. Obviously all this shit's coming out during court, and the Fight Network still stood there, like unfazed. Like if I'm them, I'm kind of like, what the hell happened?
Yeah,
We didn't know all this, and now we're getting into bed with you. Fuck, what have I done?
they're probably like, what's this all about, eh?
All right, Mercenary Legit asks us. I have a question. What's your favorite wrestler of I'm guessing he means of all time. His is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm gonna let you start it out, Ronnie. Who's your favorite wrestler?
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. Okay. Mine is as well Stone Cold Steve Austin. We started on titles, and now what did I tell you before we started going on the air? We're gonna get all over the place. But mine is as well Stone Cold. Tell me about why. Okay, so your favorite Shawn. I've
Mhm.
never been this overzealous fan of Shawn Michaels. I've
Mhm.
never really enjoyed him. Now I didn't get to see him back in his heyday. I have gone back and watched some stuff, but
Mhm.
I never got to see him back when he was, the man.
Mhm.
Tell me what is it, and I've never understood it because I know a lot of people who got to watch during that, early mid '90s that say Shawn just head and heels to the moon. Shawn Michaels is their favorite wrestler. Please explain this to me.
Well, I am the old guy. I'm in my 30s, so Shawn Michaels was my guy when I was a kid. Ever since I was little, I just loved everything he was about, man. The Rockers started it out, And then, yeah, I'm bringing up the Rockers, everybody. I'm showing my age.
Yeah,
And
only a
then
touch. Only a touch.
only a tidbit, man.
Only a
Only a
little bit.
smidge. But what really got me like full into professional wrestling was him versus Bret Hart Iron Man match WrestleMania 15. I had to think about that. I'm like, was it 15? I have so many concussions from getting hit in the head over the years to where like I have to think about the past a lot. But yeah, I think it was WrestleMania 15, and that was like it for me. That was like, all right, Shawn Michaels is the man. I love professional wrestling. I'm gonna do this shit, and then that was it.
Is he one of the driving forces that drove you to become a professional wrestler?
Absolutely, man,
Yeah.
without question.
I
Yeah.
hear that a lot too, and I've never understood the draw to Shawn Michaels. Yeah, Mercenary. I love me some DX too. I'm from a much later age of DX though. When I was doing DX, you had Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, China, Triple H, and I'm trying to think of who it was. X Pac. I almost
Mhm.
called him the 1, 2, 3 kid, which I wouldn't have been wrong,
Well,
but
no, you're not wrong.
just not the correct persona during that time. Um, Man, okay, so now where did you go do your schooling for professional wrestling?
I found
If
a
you don't mind me
school.
asking.
Oh, dude, I'll talk about it all day because I'm sure I'll get deep into it later in the conversation. Uh, I went to Monessen, Pennsylvania. There was a school. Well, there was a wrestling promotion called the CWF. It was the Championship Wrestling Federation. I had a buddy there who was refing, and he introduced me to the promoter slash trainer. I got trained by a guy named Powerhouse Hughes and a guy named Sniper, and I trained for 2 years before I debuted. And I debuted in, let's see, I've been in the business for 8 years. Uh, 2005. Yeah, November 2005.
Okay,
So
very
you're
interesting.
really,
You got any
you're
good?
really.
Every time I get to talk to a professional wrestler of that sort. What are some of your more interesting stories that you've hit?
Oh,
Um,
jeez. Uh,
I know you have some. Don't feel free. This is not a. This is definitely a. What do I call a mature channel? So feel free to go anywhere. We're an open book here. We don't hide anything.
no, it's okay. I've done my fair share of sketchy shit in my day. Uh,
Mercenary. Sorry to cut you off.
no,
I
you're
am
fine.
not playing Supercard at the moment. As you can obviously see, I am in the middle of the podcast, but I will be playing some Supercard here possibly later on tonight. Tomorrow's kind of a sketch for me getting on some Supercard, maybe live streaming it a little bit. But don't forget, hit the sub button, hit the like button, and we will do some Supercard. Don't worry about Supercard. That's not going away. I'm having too much fun with that damn game. Um, and I'll get into that. If the channel's going to be changing just a touch, but obviously we're still going to stay what we are. Very centric to wrestling. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Story time with Ronnie Starks. I'm interested because you always hear these stories and they're so lavish and out there that it's like you can't make this shit up.
You
And
can't.
and you don't have to give me any. If there's something you're like, I'd rather not.
I'll,
Feel
I
free,
won't
but
tell. Yeah, I won't give you full stories. I'll give you cliff notes to
don't don't
some of the
incri-
more.
don't incriminate yourself on my.
Yeah. There was a one where me and my friends at a show, we assigned some boobs of a girl that wasn't exactly the age that she said she was.
Ooh,
There was another one where I made fun of a fat girl with cancer. Fuck, man. Yeah, I think. Well, trust me, man. If I had the time to sit down and be like, well,
we have
here's
all
all
the
the.
time you want, man.
I really don't want to tell.
That's fine.
Let's just say I've done some really really bad shit.
You've been there and done some stuff
I
and
have,
things.
man.
So I mean, we started out with titles. We've kind of scurried all over the place, which is I think fine. It's what makes doing podcasts fun. Is I sit down and believe it or not, I have notes on my computer as to like bullet points I want to hit and things I want to get to. And I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 times I do one of these, I don't
Mm-hmm.
get to half the stuff. So don't if we go on off a tangent, feel free. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But let's get into this women's title. That's the other title that changed hands here just this past Monday. I believe it was this past Monday, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
on Raw. Number one, are they hot potatoing this title?
Oh, absolutely, they're hot potatoing the title. I'm telling you right now, the pay-per-view they're gonna have in Pittsburgh, Charlotte's gonna win the title back. I'm calling it. That's it.
That was my
Like
next
where,
question.
yeah, where she won the title the first time,
Yeah.
she's gonna lose it. That's what's gonna happen.
So you think it's gonna come full circle?
Oh, absolutely, man, without question.
So you don't maybe see this as just. I mean, the thing is, Bailey's not as over as we thought. They really haven't done anything with Nia. Summer
Mm-hmm.
Rae's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we have debuting next week? Eva Lise? No.
Or Emma.
Emma Lynn, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
they've named her now. Eva Lise is from Lucha Underground,
Yeah.
which is also extraordinarily hot. But anyway, we have Emma debuting, I believe, next week, coming up. And then who else we got down there? You got Dana Brooke, who couldn't wrestle a fucking broom. She'd find a way to botch that. So are they just working with nothing, or are they not doing it correctly? What's the
No,
problem with this women's division? James Ellsworth is new. If he had a few surgeries, he might be able to get into the women's division.
who brought up James Ellsworth in the conversation?
That
Was that
would be
Mercenary?
that would be Mercenary. He brought up.
You son of a bitch.
Do you know Mercenary legit? I'm guessing or
No,
legit?
no, I'm just messing with him.
Okay.
I don't know him.
Yeah, he did bring up James Ellsworth. He would need a couple of surgeries. Alicia Fox. I did forget about Alicia Fox. Thank you, Mercenary.
I like Elisa Fox.
Uh,
I think they're doing something right. I think there's always a means to an end. There's always that light at the end of the tunnel when
Okay.
it comes to what they have a plan for. What the plan for is, dude, who the hell knows? But I think eventually we're gonna get there, and I think it's gonna have something to do with Bailey.
do you think eventually that plan is it's gonna be like, oh, and then we're all gonna feel bad? I mean, I know as wrestling fans we're not gonna feel bad, but do you think that some people have that that aha moment somewhere
Of
along the way?
course. No, yeah, dude, definitely.
See, because the way I'm looking at it with these two, I would like a few less title switches, but it's just, and I've said it before, and then they switched the title twice more, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll eat my words. As I was like, maybe this is just a competition between two competitors who are so closely matched to each other.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That they're building them up that these two are just they're good, obviously. But they're so closely matched that there's not going to be a definitive winner. Or at least there hasn't yet. Now, when you put Hell in a Cell in there, that kind of was like, well, that would be your your definitive winner. That's not the way it went, obviously, because then they flopped the title and then they flopped it back, and now it's back where it began at Hell in a Cell. Do you think maybe we're looking at another match stipulation that I don't know where you go that would be higher than Hell in a Cell? And the only thing I can think of is the 60-minute Iron Woman match. I don't know if either of them could go 60 minutes. That's yet to be seen. But do you think that's our end result? Number one is maybe that our end resolve, or number two, could you see where I'm coming from on that? I guess.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. There has to be a payoff eventually. I thought Hell in a Cell was going to be the payoff, and then the feud was going to end, but that wasn't the case, obviously.
No.
Will it be an Iron Man match? I would like to see it. Can they go
I think
60
that's
minutes?
what everyone wants to see right now. Am I wrong?
No,
Everyone's
man,
like,
maybe...
we want the Iron. After Bailey and Sasha, everyone's like, we want the Iron Woman match. That's all everyone seems to be looking forward to. But do you want to just be like, all right, Iron Woman match? I said it last week with Adam. It's one of those things where sometimes as wrestling fans, we want what we want and we want it now. Our attention span is so where it used to be an hour, now it's 15 minutes. We want what we want it yesterday. more or less.
Pretty much, man. That's the name of the game, isn't it?
Right, and
Like,
so they're
we're
like
all impatient.
they're drawing this out. It seems like
Yeah,
to the point of staleness.
yeah.
And I think that's I want to say that's where we're headed, and I don't want to look like an idiot again because I'm like they're not hot potatoing the title, and then all of a sudden it switches two more times within the matter of a month, and I'm like, but I'll still try to defend myself. I don't know if it'll be successful, but I'm still gonna try to defend what I said. Should we go
I
into a little bit of? You go ahead. I'm gonna pull something up here real quick.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, I said it last week on the warm-up show for Wrestling Rumors that it was hot potatoing, and Josh Lopez got mad at me because I said it was hot potatoing. And he's like, "It's not hot potatoing." I'm like, "Dude, it kind of is, man." Like, let's be honest. I
So
mean,
I and I guess it all depends on everyone's definition of hot potatoing because I mean if you look at
yeah,
things nowadays, um, there's things that seem and I don't know and how long have you been in the business?
8 years.
8 years. Okay, so it seems like nowadays we like to pull shit out of our ass.
Yeah,
Sorry if that sounds a little how do I say harsh, but it is what it is. The word buried comes to mind, right? Oh,
yeah.
they buried him. Everybody that doesn't win right away or takes a few consecutive losses to build somebody else up, they're burying.
Yeah.
I mean, have there been instances where we've seen buried in WWE? I think yes. But it just seems like everyone's like, oh, my favorite team's losing. They're buried. And then they walk away.
Like I said, man, there's always a means to an end. I know how wrestling fans' logic is. I get it. It's a lot different for people in the business. But it's kind of like every time when I see a fan like use wrestling terminology and how they talk about it, and I'm like, all right, Christ's sake, what the fuck? And then it's just funny to me because I'm like, well, do you really know what the definition of buried is? Or
So
are you
let me
just?
get it straight from the horse's mouth then. What is the definition of buried?
I mean, it's if you're losing a consistent level, that's being buried. If you lose once or twice, it's not really being buried. It's just building up a storyline.
All right,
It's
what's a consistent level? What would you say? Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, are they buried?
no, well, fuck
Or
that.
is
That
it
my
their
friend,
auras just big enough? Do you know what I mean?
they
Like
don't need it.
they're Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They can eat
Yeah.
a dozen pins in a row and they're gonna be okay. Sami Zayn,
Well,
I think, is that same way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I think Sami Zayn could eat pins for days, and everyone's gonna be like, but we love Sami Zayn.
there's a big difference between Sami Zayn and Anderson and Gallows. Those guys should have been tag team champions months ago. And that can be the definition of being buried for them. Sami Zayn, they're building to something bigger for him. So that's just a matter of time to see what happens. They'll probably go to SmackDown. They'll probably do something with him there because he's getting lost in the shuffle on Raw. But man,
Yeah, I think a lot of
Gallows
people
and
are getting
Anderson,
lost in the shuffle on Raw.
3 hours, man. It's too much of a timeline and nothing's going on.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very 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 good point. That's a lot of time, and it's like watching paint dry,
Oh god,
almost. You know what I mean?
even if you DVR it, you're still bored.
Really, I don't. I watch it every Monday most of the
Oh,
time.
you don't DVR it?
I don't. I'm home, so I just watch it. You know what I mean? So no, I don't. I know a lot of people who do DVR it then watch it later, so they can fast forward through all the contract signings and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not me. I watch it. I want the experience. I watch. I've given up my wrestling schedule watching before.
Mm-hmm.
Mondays is Raw, Tuesdays is SmackDown, Wednesdays is NXT and Lucha, and then Thursdays is TNA, which I still do watch TNA.
I'm sorry.
I've given my reasons for watching TNA. Even if I'm not sitting down fully paying attention to TNA, it will be on at 7 o'clock every Thursday. Simply due to the fact of I think Vince needs some competition, and I think this is what you're seeing right now is the product of Vince not having anybody to compete against.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal belief. Mercenary, I watch a lot on the WWE network. Just Raw and SmackDown aren't one of them. Because I don't know why they're not on live on the WWE network. Clearly, that's probably to boost ratings. Would
Hmm.
be my guess on USA because we are in a ratings. Everyone's in a ratings crisis right now. Whether you want to believe it or not, everyone's making this big hoopla over WWE not having the greatest ratings in the world. But the NFL is in a ratings crisis. The NBA is in a ratings crisis. Baseball is in a ratings crisis. It a lot of this has to do with the internet. You don't have to
Hmm.
watch Raw anymore. All you got to do is pop on Tuesday morning, and you can watch their top 10 highlights on their YouTube channel, and be like, oh, I get it now, and feel like you have most of the gist of what it is, or what Raw was about.
Hmm.
Is what I feel. So I mean, this ratings crisis is almost their own fault in a way because they've made so much accessible to us so quick, and us as a society really want that information
Hmm.
as quick as we can get it without investing so much time.
Hmm.
I think that sounds like a fair analysis to me. I forgot what we were talking about.
It's all right. I think it's safe to say the internet is to blame for a lot
Yeah,
of things.
yeah, the internet is to
Technology.
blame. Absolutely, I would completely agree with you. I love technology. Don't get me wrong. I use it every day. But it, it,
You know
it
who
is what it
else?
is.
You know who else loves technology?
The government.
Uh, well, no, I'm gonna make a bad joke. You ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Napoleon Dynamite's brother loves technology.
That's a little dated of a joke. I don't know if that one will go over anymore. Just
In the
because
words
of
of
how dated it is.
in the words of Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy, nothing goes over my head because I will catch it.
Because I will catch it. I'm too fast. I loved that movie. That's one of my favorite lines. I busted out laughing, and my wife had no idea what was going on when I'm laughing. And I'm like, did you not hear that? And she's like, I didn't find it funny. I'm like, nothing will go over his head. Or he doesn't understand sarcasm because nothing will go over his head.
Because his people are so literal.
He's too fast. He would catch it. She's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, God, humor is lost on you. Moving on, should we get ourselves into a little TLC action here with that coming up tomorrow?
Yes,
I feel
let's
like
do
most of
it.
my podcasts have become prediction shows, just
It
because of
happens.
how many fucking pay-per-views there are.
2 a month, man.
Two a month seems. I mean, I know they're scaling it back in 2017. Thank God.
Hmm.
But two a month is brutal. And
Hmm.
I'll tell you, come the takeover shows, by Thursday I am fucking burnt. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
dude.
you got a takeover, then you have a pay per view, and it's like it's a 6 hour. It's not a 2 or 3 hour pay per view. It's a 6 hour pay per view. You know, I know a lot of
Nobody.
people. I know a lot of people say don't watch the pre show,
Yeah.
which I try not to. But I got kids, man. You guys can all put up your signs in the chat. I got kids. Um, I do, and my daughter loves it, so it will be on, and more or less I'll be sitting down watching it.
Mhm.
My daughter is the walking WWE like catchphrase machine.
Oh, jeez.
She will say them all. If you start her out, all of a sudden, I literally could say whatever. Let's just I'll say I am, and often say it loud, and all of a sudden you'll hear a certified G and a bona fide star. It's adorable. I did it last week, and literally you could hear in the background it just spouting them off. But anyway, TLC. I want to get your opinions. My opinions are already known. This will probably go on to the network well after the pay per view has been posted and done and over with. But let's go through this real quick. Mine are already known. You guys can watch the video from yesterday if you want to see that. But SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Heath Slater and Rhino going up against Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton.
All right, man. So here's how this is gonna go in my
Oh,
head. I pray to God, or whatever belief you guys believe in, that it's Bray Wyatt's time to finally get a championship in WWE. Uh, hopefully, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton win the tag titles on Sunday, because he is long overdue for a title run, man, and it's pretty ridiculous that it's taken this long for them to put a belt on him. But some people say that he doesn't need a championship because he's so good of a character, but it's time. Give him something.
I don't think he needs one. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm in that boat. He doesn't need a championship because he's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem you have with Bray Wyatt right now is he can't be the eater of worlds if the world always kicks him in the shin.
Yeah, true that.
Does that make sense? I mean, this will be, if he wins this weekend, it'll be his third pay per view win in a row. But before that, it seemed like the man never won on pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
He barely won matches on Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
He was putting over Kane for a little bit. It's like, really? Kane? Glenn Jacobs?
Of
That's
all,
the man you're
of all
pushing
people.
now? How old is he? 60? I don't know. I could be wrong on that one altogether, but like I don't know. Glenn Jacobs he's been around the block for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, and I think it's time that maybe we just don't see Kane anymore. And I think we'd be all right. I think the world would be a better place. All right, who do you got? Kalisto and Baron Corbin in a chairs match.
Probably Kalisto.
See, and that's the gut feeling I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Baron Corbin, I think needs the win, but I get this gut feeling that Vince is gonna be like, ha 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 ha, Kalisto wins, little man gets the victory. Don't know why. I get that same gut feeling. I chose Baron Corbin, but I get that same gut wrench feeling. Miz against Dolph Ziggler.
Miz.
Miz TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think I as well chose Miz. No DQ match. Going with Carmella versus Nikki Bella.
Mm, that's a tough one. Which is really weird that I say that one of all things is a tough
Is
one.
the tough one.
Nikki Bella probably. What? Carmella's got the upper hand on her for a couple weeks, right? So it's got to be Nikki Bella.
Um, I haven't thought about that. I chose Carmella simply because I feel Nikki Bella could eat a pin and be okay.
True.
Becky Lynch against Alexa Bliss. My bae, Alexa Bliss.
Oh, I love her too, man. I love that girl. Yeah, Alexa Bliss, definitely.
Kane is only okay. Mercenary puts in the chat that Kane is only 49 years old.
I mean, yeah, that makes more sense than 60. So,
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. It just seems like he's been on my TV for ever, like since I can
yeah.
remember. And well, yeah, he has been on my since I started watching. Kane has been on my TV, um, sparingly, but he's been and more there. Oh, he retracted. I will Google this. I will Google Kane's age. While you
You know
answer,
what's you know what's really bad?
what's that?
Kane debuted in Pittsburgh at the King of the Ring '98, and I was there. So I remember Kane's debut when he ripped the cage door off of the Hell in the Cell and attacked the Undertaker. Uh, I took my member berries for that one, man. I remembered.
My member berries. Everyone loves the member berries right now.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Everyone's like, Adam just said it last week. He's like, if you're watching South Park, you know all about the member berries. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these member berries are taking over. They really are. I mean, everyone's talking about the member berries. All right, Glenn Jacobs. Let's find out how old he is. He is. Oh, thanks. You give me his age or his birth. He is 49 years old. Yep,
Okay.
49. Born April 26, 1967.
It's crazy.
That is. And then who do you got? AJ going up against Dean.
AJ Styles.
Hulk Hogan is 63 years old and still making sex tapes. So,
Jesus, man. That
well,
just came out of left field.
yeah, well, no. Mercenary puts in the chat that Hulk Hogan is 63 years old, and his Gawker case just ended a little while, or actually just settled with Gawker not too long ago, because Gawker went broke after they posted, Hulk railing somebody.
Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. I think is what it was.
Yes. You're taking Mercenaries, taking Dean. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on why Dean deserves the championship again. I think he's been a much better chaser than he has been champion.
a title holder. Yeah, I think James Ellsworth is accidentally going to cost Dean Ambrose the title on
I've
Sunday.
heard that one a lot too.
Mm.
I've heard that he's going to cost him a title. I don't know what's the deal with James Ellsworth.
Well,
Now you guys are on the are you still wrestling now? Are you still
no,
in
I'm
the
done.
business? Oh, you're done. Okay.
I actually just quit like 3 days
Oh,
ago.
okay. Well, fair enough. Is that like a quit? I'm done for real, or is that like a Chris Jericho quit? I'll be back in a little bit.
Well, my last quit was a Chris Jericho, and I took a
Okay.
year and a half off. This one is for real. This one is I'm done. So,
You can't do it anymore. Injury.
injuries, and I don't give a shit.
You just don't care anymore. Is
Yeah,
it because of James Ellsworth though?
no, it is not. But I do personally know James Ellsworth.
Do you really?
I do.
Tell me a little bit about James Ellsworth, because I'm about ready to kill the man.
He is actually a very nice guy.
I'm
And
sure he's a nice guy, and that's the thing
yeah.
is I don't want to talk bad of him because is it a nice story? Yes.
Uh, yeah, he's really nice. I've worked on a couple shows with the guy. You know, we're friends on Facebook. I congratulated him when he signed. He said thanks. It's not like we're best friends. We,
Okay.
every once in a while, I'll just be like, "Hey, man, how's things going?" He's there, so that's good
He's
for him.
he's there and he's
I'm,
around. I mean, is it guys like James Ellsworth where now you're looking at your screen and you're just going, what?
uh, let's put it like this. There's plenty of guys who I think deserve that opportunity, and he got that opportunity. So
I guess that was my question is the fact that this guy who basically he got over because people like to make. I mean, let's face it, the man got over because people like to make fun of him.
yeah, and it's gone way too far.
Right. And
Uh,
does that as coming from your background, does that upset you a little bit that you're like, I know this guy, and this guy who like they're good workers.
mm,
Obviously, they're good in the ring. That much more deserve that spot. Did that have any sort of like influence on your decision to just be done?
no, James Ellsworth has nothing to do with me quitting professional wrestling. Just so everybody knows.
I wasn't saying maybe direct, but kind of that whole like
No, no, no,
out of
no.
all the people, like you see some of these guys and it's just like they're total turds. Not saying James Ellsworth is a turd, but I'm saying like some of these guys and some of these things that happen that you
uh,
hear about, like Sin Cara likes to like I guess bare knuckle box on buses.
yeah,
Um,
jeez, man. Yeah, dude, it's no, that like I said, that had nothing to do with my decision. I do think that there's other guys who should be on the main roster who should be signed. The guy got over because he's funny looking, but he's a really nice guy and he's a really great guy, and I have nothing bad to say about him at all.
okay.
But it's just one of those things where oh, okay, man, you got there, you did your thing. WWE fans are really fucking stupid, and they will literally, if you hand them a turd sandwich, they will eat it, and they
Not
will
all of
enjoy it.
us. Not all of
Well,
us.
some of them.
I was gonna say
And
don't lump us all in the same boat, pretty
it,
please.
are you
'Cause
are you a well? I won't. I'm sorry. Do you watch The Walking Dead? Are you a fan?
I absolutely do.
All right. Well, let me put this quote as how I think wrestling fans are. You remember when Negan got in Rick's ear and said, "Just so you know, I
Yep.
slipped my dick down your
Your
throat.
throat,
You thanked
and
me
you
for
thanked
it."
me for it. Yep.
And that's what WWE is doing. They slip their dick down people's throats, and people are thanking them for it.
Not all of us. Not
Some of
all
them.
of us.
Some of them.
Some
Yeah.
of us are critical.
Yeah.
I think some of us are overcritical
Yeah.
of certain things. I think sometimes people take the bitch to bitch.
Oh,
I
that
don't.
may be
I don't want to.
understatement.
Yeah, I don't want to say that. I think some people are overcritical, and I think some people are undercritical. We can take like what culture for
Yeah.
example. I
Is there a happy medium somewhere in there though? Do you think there's a happy medium? Like, is it just everyone's either pissed or everyone's kind of like, okay, whatever? Like, is there
um
just like,
I would almost. I mean, you would have to tell me. I'm not sure. I would say I am the happy medium. I would say I am. You can tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but
Oh, dude, no, not at all. This is the
um,
first time we're ever talking. So
yeah, I mean,
okay.
I don't know if you watch. Some people watch my stuff, and some people say I'm too nice to the WWE. Some people say I'm too critical. And no two people seem to agree on where I stand on it. When they
Dude.
fuck up, I'm gonna call them on it. You know what I mean? But when they do something right, you kind of, it's like raising children almost. You got to give them
Mhm.
their praise when they do something right. But when they do fuck up, you got to give them their ass whipping and let them
would
know.
you would you qualify this James Ellsworth thing as a fuck up?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, yes. Now in the beginning, no, it was cute, it was fun. You know what I mean? Oh, what a great story.
Mhm.
And it was a great story. I mean, look at this guy who basically came on and was a no. He came on and got squashed by um, Braun Strowman,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden he makes a few more appearances, and I really think at Survivor Series that should have been his end. I think maybe even Survivor Series was kind of stretching it just a little bit. He.
Just maybe more than a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Okay. Well, I'll give it to him because I know for WWE it's about the cash flow, and
mhm.
and when they released the shirt and it sold like crazy. I mean, I think a lot of the times it's what the fans tell them. And we do send mixed signals with
Mhm.
with how so polarizing a lot of things are. Goldberg, very polarizing. Everybody wanted Goldberg after SummerSlam, right? Everybody's, we want Goldberg back. Well, you got Goldberg back. Did you forget what Goldberg was?
I
It,
guess they did. So,
yeah, I mean, did
cause
did you did you forget? And then everyone's pissed off when he wins. It's like, did you forget what Goldberg does? Did
I
the
remember.
talk about the member berries? Did you guys seem to not member what Goldberg was? Because this is exactly what I didn't think it was gonna go that way. I'm like, there's no way they're not that dumb, and then they
Oh,
did.
they're that dumb. They
And
are
then they
that dumb,
did.
sir.
Yeah, and then I was like, what? Like I said, it took me like 2 days to like literally fathom what I saw. And I didn't know where I stood on it right away because I was like, am I angry? Am I happy? And then I kind of wandered around not knowing where I stood. Where did you stand on the whole Goldberg thing? I gotta
Uh,
ask because it is the most polarizing issue in the community right now.
no, it's quite alright. I was against Goldberg coming back for everything that we talked about on the warm-up show. Every show we talked about it, I'm like, it's a dumb idea. I don't care. It's stupid. Yeah, people are gonna be disappointed. It's stupid. And what happened? The match lasted a minute, like 15 seconds,
Yep, minute and
and
23 seconds was the official
yeah,
time on it.
and people are like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever." I'm like, "In what motherfucking world is that the greatest thing ever that you have ever seen in all of professional wrestling history?" Was Bill Goldberg beating the unstoppable Brock Lesnar in a minute and 50, or a minute and 23 seconds. And look at it like this: all those people that Brock Lesnar beat when he's been back, that basically took it and threw it out the window, shit on everybody, and said, "Okay, well now nobody means anything because Goldberg's here, and he can beat that guy in a minute and 23 seconds." It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
I can agree with you because I did feel that way. I'm like, wow, way to shit on everything. That's how I originally felt.
Mm-hmm.
Way to shit on everybody. Way to
Mm-hmm.
shit on Cena. Way to shit on Taker. Way to shit on like I said, we can go through the laundry list of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I
The
sat
list.
down and I'm like, where is this going? You know what I mean? I was like, there's got
Mm-hmm.
to be more. Because at that time we only knew about one. Like this was it. This was the match.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I thought, okay, well, this is obviously WWE's way to sell more pay per views. Okay, I get it, money. Open up the cash drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll get to your question in just a second, mercenary. Um, Open up the cash drawers, sell Goldberg merch, blah blah blah, whatever. It's a cash and ratings grab. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Brock's
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Absolutely.
Brock's gonna get his win back from that awful match at WrestleMania 20.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll all move on with our lives.
Can
And
only
then
hope so, man.
and then he won. Oh no, mercenary! I saw that. I saw that comment. I'm gonna ask that question if I remember it. Um, That's where I thought we were headed. To be honest
Hmm.
with you, that's right. That's the path I thought we were going down. And then Goldberg won, and I was just kind of like, I didn't see that coming at all. Um,
And here comes another awful quote from me. Ready? Have you seen Clerks 2?
oh yeah.
All right. Even Anne fucking Frank didn't see that coming.
She, are you sure it was Anne Frank? I think that's a
All right,
Helen Keller joke.
that's why that was the whole joke, man.
Oh,
No,
I get it. I get it.
relax, Batista.
I need to.
Nothing goes over your head.
Yeah, I need to. I need to rewatch those movies. It's been so long. I'm
Fantastic
running
movie.
my wife through the gauntlet of movies she's never watched. We just watched Full Metal Jacket the other day,
Oh, what a
and
classic.
because I keep going through all these movies, I'm like, "You ever seen Full Metal Jacket?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "You've never seen Full Metal Jacket?" No. I was like, and that got me going. You ever seen Pulp Fiction? No.
Oh,
You ever
man.
seen this movie? That I'm naming off movies, and she's just
Mhm.
like, nope, 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 and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, well, get Netflix out. We got, we're gonna start. So, um, what do you think? And I had this theory, and I thought it kind of makes sense to me. It's not really a theory. It's more of a why they did this. Obviously, now that we know he's got a multi-match deal, it makes all more sense because this is just again, got to fill the Alamo Dome, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
You don't think there's anything, like I've said, it's now made Goldberg Brock's white whale.
Mhm.
That dude, he just can't, that mountain he cannot climb. And I thought it was good for Goldberg's, not Goldberg, but Lesnar's character almost, because it was like he was getting a little stale. You didn't? Did you see him getting a little stale there?
I mean, I was never really a big fan of Brock Lesnar being back to begin with. So,
I wasn't either. I was done with Brock the first time he left.
yeah, yeah.
But now he's back, and I'm like, why bring him back? I mean, I get it. He creates cash.
Mhm.
Um, but like, why bring him back? He's just gonna leave again once somebody offers him more money.
Mhm. And he
Yeah,
doesn't even give a shit that he's there. So,
no, he's
it
there
doesn't matter.
because he needs a paycheck.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the only thing he needs.
Mhm.
I need money to live in the middle of nowhere in Canada. Please pay me. You know, that's really all it is. So once he finds somebody to pay him, or Brock's gonna take his ball and go home.
Pretty
I
much.
think we know that all to be true. And if anybody says that I'm wrong, I'm sorry, you're naive.
They're kidding
Yeah,
themselves, man.
he's as soon as if the whole thing worked out with UFC and they offered him another contract, he'd be gone. As soon as WWE was up, he'd be back in UFC.
Well, not after the drugs.
Not after the drugs. I'm saying that's what I was saying. If things would have gone right in
Yeah.
UFC, he would have boot scooted and boogied the fuck out of WWE once everything was done. So I kind of like, oh, he's his white whale. This makes sense. And then
Mhm.
obviously we're gonna see probably Brock fuck over Goldberg in the Rumble, or maybe they eliminate each other. I don't know. And
Mhm.
then that sets up WrestleMania because
Oh
you got two big places to fill. It always hurts my heart to watch the what do I say? How do I say the superstars of yesteryear have to take more focus than the stars of today.
I mean, I would have also settled for the old guys as your explanation too.
The old guys. What do you mean?
The old guys. Well, the stars of yesteryear, the
Oh
old
yeah,
guys.
the old guys. I mean, I'm getting up there too. I'm 28, so I'm getting up there. I feel
Yeah,
it.
I
I'll
feel
be.
you, buddy.
I'm sorry. I am 29, as my wife just so reminded me. Do you ever? Okay, let me ask you this
Yeah.
crazy question. Crazy
Mhm.
question. Totally not wrestling related. Do you ever forget your age?
I try to.
Do you try to? But do you ever have somebody go, "How old are you?" and you go, um, 28, I think.
Yeah, sometimes I tell people I'm 31 because for some reason I think I'm 31,
Yeah,
but I'm really 32.
yeah.
So,
No, I that's been the year I've had this year. I'm like, I'm 28, and my wife's like, No, you're not. You're 29, dumbass. And I'm like, No, I'm fucking 28. God damn it. And she's like, No, honey, your 30th birthday is this upcoming February.
ugh.
And I'm like, No, woman, you're on drugs. Put the pipe
You're
down.
wrong.
Put the pipe down. I'm fucking 28. And
It's
then
like, you
she
are wrong.
then she busts out the calculator and does the whole, 2017 minus. And she's like, "You're 30." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm fucking 30. Fuck. God damn, I'm gonna walk away now." I got numbers don't lie. What was your thoughts on? Okay, so obviously lose. Did you immediately did your head go to Taker when Goldberg ends up going over?
Not really.
No.
I honestly didn't even think about the Undertaker. I just assumed that it was probably gonna be something about Cena and Taker or AJ Styles and Taker, but like I never thought of Undertaker.
Not even once, huh? That's
No,
immediately where my head went to.
no,
Right
never
away,
even
I'm
thought
like,
about it.
the man that beat the streak just got beat in a minute 23.
No, never crossed my mind.
No, and I've said that as well. That Taker is not what he used to be.
Hmm.
And that we may need to. Although I love the Undertaker, I do.
Hmm.
I love the Undertaker. Don't get me wrong. For all the people who said, "Well, it's because you don't like the Undertaker," I do love the Undertaker. He is one of my favorites. It's just he's another one of those guys where um, he's aged well, but I think it's time for him to take his ball and take his final last walk into the darkness because it's just he's too old. I'm sorry. He's just. I mean, the man he is getting up there. I mean, how old, I don't
Hmm.
know how old the Undertaker is, but
He's getting there, man. It's time. It's definitely time. I
I'm
mean, God bless the guy. He's one of the best. But sometimes these old guys need to realize that it's time to move on and let the young bucks, the younger generation, take over.
speaking of the Young Bucks,
Super kick party.
Mark Calloway is 51.
Okay.
So for all of you, I know everyone was concerned out there how old Mark Calloway was. He is 51. All right, let's talk. Who you said you've seen some guys and works with some guys, and I'm sure you watch some of the independent scene as we all do.
Hmm.
If you're on this channel and you don't watch the independent scene, please leave. Um, who are some of your people? Obviously, Ring of Honor has about 1 million contracts, and again, that might be going crazy, but they have 1 million contracts coming up in December. Who are some of these people that are going to get wooed by the E?
Oh, jeez. Well, whose contracts the main stars that are leaving?
Young Bucks is coming up.
Okay.
Um, I know. I believe. Shit. Young Bucks. Kenny Omega is coming up. I'm pulling it up right now. It's a bunch of people.
Well, is Kenny Omega's contract up with ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling,
I
or
am
is it
not.
just
I'm not 100% sure on that.
because if
I
it's both, Kenny Omega has openly expressed interest in going to WWE.
Yes, he very much has. I'm trying to
Mm.
find the article. I had it saved, and now I am having an issue finding it. I mean, it's a good majority of their roster. Jay Lethal is up in
Oh,
January.
I'd like to see Lethal on the main roster. I think he'll stay at ROH though.
Kyle O'Reilly is coming up.
He just won their
He
title.
did. He just won last night.
Mhm.
I forgot about that. Just looking at this article now. Bobby Fish. Wait. Oh, they just re-signed these guys. I'm sorry.
Well, that just defeats the whole purpose.
That defeated the whole purpose. God damn it. When's this article from? I have too many articles saved, and I need to deep six a bunch. But, okay, so they signed those big three. Obviously, Kyle O'Reilly. I thought Jay Lethal was coming up, and I didn't hear anything until I brought that article up that he had re-signed.
Okay.
Now, I don't think, even if Jay Lethal were to... I know he's a huge WWE fan, guys, and you guys are going to put that in there, but I don't ever see Jay Lethal making his way to WWE. What are your thoughts on that one?
No, I don't either. I don't see him as a neat guy. I mean, nothing against the guy. He's an amazing talent, but I think he's making enough money on the indies to where I think he's comfortable enough to stay in the position he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he really needs to come to WWE.
See, and I've told many people, here's my thoughts on it. I've told many people that the reason I don't think Jay Lethal would ever come to the E is their treatment of African American workers.
Oh, jeez. Well, congratulations on pulling that card during the show.
I don't think it's an unfair card to pull, though. Do you know what I mean?
No, I got you. I just think it's funny that you're just like, well, here's what I think about that. And I'm like, oh shit, all right.
I mean, I'm always gonna lay it that's just who I am. I'm gonna lay it out for you guys the way it is. You know, if I were in Jay Lethal's shoes,
Mhm.
you know, I would have to look at how they originally booked the New Day as literal choir boys.
Or look at Uriah Nation, or
I was gonna
what
say
is
we can work our way back from there. Big E, the treatment of
yeah,
him has been piss poor.
yeah.
We can go to Bobby Lashley. The treatment of him was piss poor.
Hmm.
I mean, you can go back throughout the years, and let me just ask you one thing: how many African American champions have you ever had? WWE champions.
Jeez. Well, can we qualify Rock as African American,
No,
or is he
because
Samoan?
they definitely plaster him as Samoan.
Then have we ever had a black WWE champion?
Um, I thought maybe Booker T.
Heavyweight champion.
Yeah, heavyweight champion, but a champion nonetheless. I think Booker T might be the only one.
That's kind of racist. I mean, if we're pulling that card, if there has only been one African American champion.
That's what I'm
See,
saying.
I'm trying to be politically correct
No,
with
don't be
with how
politically
I say
correct
it.
because you know what, Vince ain't gonna be.
True. They need to break that really bad cycle then.
And
And
they
like,
have the man to do it there, I think.
what? See, I can't think of his WWE name. I just think of him as Uriah Nation. What the heck is his name? He's on SmackDown.
Are you looking for Apollo Cruz?
Yeah, that's. Thank you. Jeez, sorry.
No,
His
no
Indian
worries.
name was the only thing in my head. Yeah, Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
He could
as
be a champion, but
or as I
what?
call him, the SmackDown bellhop.
Yeah, what? Jeez, why the heck aren't they doing anything with him? Like,
He's
it's
been absent
ridiculous.
from SmackDown altogether.
Is he hurt, or are they just not using
I
him?
just don't think they're using him.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, he needs to flesh out a character,
Yeah.
obviously, but I mean, with no screen time, what character can he flesh out besides for going around going, you know, excuse me, besides for going around being a human speaking spell?
Hmm.
I mean, I thought that was so shit to put him in. You know, when they started making puns on his names, and now he's going around spelling his name to everybody. I'm like, literally. I mean, let's just take a look at their treatment of just say one R-Truth, who is really good in TNA, really
Hmm.
good in TNA, and now he goes around with a selfie stick that's a twig, and basically saying R-Truth can't read when that's not true. You know, we all know that's not true. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
he really can't read, but I have the feeling that R-Truth is very intelligent, as most of the indie guys who have made it to this point are.
Hmm.
You know, they're not dumb people, but that was my thing. That was my whole. You know, I'm gonna keep it real because I think you have to be. You know, if you're thinking about Jay Lethal coming to the WWE, what incentive does he have besides a bigger payday? And
Nothing other
I
than the payday.
I know money talks,
Yeah.
but you know, overall, where's the incentive for him to come?
There really isn't
There
one.
is none because they do not treat their minority superstars well. It's a fear for me to even see like a Nakamura come up or an Asuka come up to the main roster.
Hmm.
I'm terrified of that day. I
Hmm.
don't want to see Nakamura come up almost because I know how he'll get treated. It's going to be
Well,
crap.
you have to. Well, I understand, but you have to understand his star power, and WWE knows his star power and what he brings to the table.
At least we
I
hope. We hope
Yeah,
WWE knows his star power.
true. I don't see Asuka coming to the main roster though. I really don't.
Like never.
Never. I don't see her coming to the main roster ever.
Uh,
Nothing against her. I love her wrestling style. I like her. but she's better suited for NXT. Because when you look at NXT, it's not development anymore. It's just another brand.
Yeah, right. It's just a brand that happens to be on the WWE network.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not development anymore. There's no
NXT
such thing,
is NXT is turned into what it was never meant to be.
and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it has turned to be fantastic, but I've
Hmm.
said that for a while now. NXT turned into something it was never meant to be. If it's a true developmental territory, people like Bobby Roode, I don't think has any business being in NXT. What development does Bobby Roode need?
Exactly.
The man's what 30 some odd years old, 36,
Uh,
37.
36. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
somewhere
sure.
in there. He doesn't need any more development.
No,
Austin
him and Austin
Aries
Aries.
doesn't need any more development. I didn't think Nakamura when they said he was going to NXT. I'm like, all right, maybe it's to acclimate himself to the American
Hmm.
crowd because it is very, very different. So maybe it's to get him acclimated. But it's been almost a year now. I'd say he's
Hmm.
acclimated. You know,
I feel that in NXT's defense, it is the indie wrestling dream promotion. I feel like they put all these big names in NXT, and that's the show people want to see. If they do a takeover event, it's the weekend of the Big Four, and people want to go see it. I mean, I went went to SummerSlam, and the ticket I was more interested in buying was NXT Takeover. And when I go to WrestleMania, that's the ticket I'm going to spend a lot of money on because I want to go to that instead of WrestleMania. You know, it's people want to see NXT.
mm,
You have different fan bases for both things. You got diehard wrestling fans for NXT, and then you got entertainment fans that watch SmackDown and Raw. Like it's a different breed, in all honesty, man. Like I wish all the product in general, like fans, just watched everything, but some of them are picky as shit. You know.
I try to watch as much as I can.
Mhm.
It just a lot of the times availability doesn't come out immediately. It
Mhm.
just you gotta
Mhm.
wait for some stuff. Ring of Honor, you gotta kind of sit down and wait for it to get into the Fight TV app,
Mhm.
and some of the other things. But I try to keep myself as well rounded as possible. I
Mhm.
was supposed to actually go to Brawl. I'm sorry, Blizzard Brawl tonight. That didn't happen. Obviously, my babysitter conked out on me, so that's the thing. It happens.
Mhm.
Nothing I could do on that forefront, but I thought that would be a lot of fun. Go see Tommy Dreamer and his old ass, because he ain't getting any younger, that's for sure. But
Jeez.
I have to tell you, Ronnie, I've had a lot of fun here today. We are over our time limit, sir.
Oh, okay.
And we will have to. You know what? We'll get you scheduled right after this one. We'll get you scheduled for another one to come up and get everything going. As always, guys, I have been your Wookie here with Mr. Ronnie Starks. And just remember, if you shake your lightsaber more than twice, you are playing with it. Have a good one, guys. I will see you tomorrow.